Plenty Valley FM presents Sig's Flicks.
And the big man of movies is on, and we're running a little bit late this morning. Sorry about that, but George was very interesting today. So, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm sure. Always lots to cover on Valley Lifestyle. Yeah, I'm quite good here. I've got a delightful little film which is just really warm your heart. It's a good Christmas film here. It's called The Old Oak, and it did quite well. Opened and filmed at the recent British Film Festival. And a lot of the film festivals, I like to talk about them, as you know, and it's really good because many of the films featured in the film festival are later released, and this is one of them. So if I talk about them and I'm sorry, you can't see it, the festival's finished. Well, this one is not one of those, so you can check it out. Once again, it's called The Old Oak, and it comes in almost 2 hours, and this is a delightful film from Ken Loach, is a veteran British filmmaker. He's incredible, 87 years old. These old filmmakers are incredible. Clint Eastwood's in his 90s. It's amazing. But he is one of the only few directors that's won twice at the prestigious Palme d'Or Awards at the Cannes Film Festival in France, and he won those for. Here's a couple of films you might want to check out, folks, from his previous films. The Wind That Shakes the Barley from 2006 with Cillian Murphy, very good, in Oppenheimer, the lead role there. And also that film's about the 19 and 21 Irish War. And also a wonderful film about British welfare system, I, Daniel Blake, another one you might want to check out. Very good. But getting back to The Old Oak, this one is focuses, as Ken Loach says, on people, no ordinary people that are marginalized. I mean, he reckons there's always stories about ordinary people and their dilemmas, and this is no exception. Usually, often in Ken Loach films, it's very difficult to understand what's going on because of a very heavy accent. It's a little bit better in this one with the English accent. Sometimes the film filmed in English needs subtitles, but pretty good on this one. It's quite good. Dave Turner plays the role of the publican of the Old Oak in a small village in the north of England, and he's a nice guy, pretty good there. You know, the town's fallen on hard times. It used to be a mining center, and people are use the pub as a local meeting place. You know, they all the men and a couple of women there, they like to get together and drink a few beers and talk about the old days and complain about what's going on. It's just, pubs are real meeting places. It's real amazing the way things happen. And however, it's not quite enough to keep him going, and the pub's just barely hanging on. And it's a bit difficult for him. He's divorced, and his son doesn't speak with him, and there's a bit of tension there, you can imagine. But it's a lot of the locals, they're worried about how things are going and how they're going to go. And then there's a group of Syrian refugees are housed in a village very nearby, and there's a bit of resentment there, a bit of racism, and this is a problem for some of the locals. They're calling themselves a dumping ground, and the old ragheads nomenclature sort of comes across, and some of the name calling there, and they reckon some going to be a problem with some jihadists come in there. A typical reaction, you can imagine. But the film's not really about racism. It's about the connection of humans, and it's pretty good. And they reckon, you know, how are they going to look after the foreigners, and they can't even look after themselves. It's a bit difficult. And one of these Syrians is a lovely, engaging young woman called Yara, who speaks very, very good English, and she forms a friendship with the publican, and he's not a racist. He likes to help other local people, and this causes raised a few eyebrows in town, and this is a little bit difficult for him, but still, they start to form a connection, and so something really happens, and sometimes there's a real situation where the community can become a community, even with these new people, and they come and they sort of get together eventually, and all around saving this pub. and it's just really interesting and quite good. Subtle music is from George Frenton. He does well with some of the score. It's not overpowering, and it comes in almost 2 hours, and I think you'll find it's a wonderful film. The Old Oak, now screening, and you guys can see that.
Is it
Recommended.
a lot of it based in the pub itself?
Yeah, pretty much in the township. But basically, it's the start. It's basically the pub is the centerpiece, but of course the community. The pub is a community center, just like here. People. The pub's the local area, and it goes from there. So it's once again in English, no subtitles, and almost 2 hours, and you can see that around Melbourne.
Beautiful. What's your next one?
Okay. Also, we have. This has been screening for a little while. Other things, other films I've been talking about. I want to let you know that there's a new installment of The Hunger Games.
Oh, that's Christmas Table.
No, it is coming onto that. But The Hunger Games is a ballad of songbirds and snakes, and we haven't had a Hunger Games in 8 years, believe it or not.
Wow.
Where they go out and search out these people that are turned loose, and they go out and try and fight themselves, based on the gladiatorial films, like similar to Japanese legendary film Battle Royale, and also Lord of the Flies, things like this. And it's been a long time since we have it. And it certainly misses Jennifer Lawrence, who's a starring role in the early ones. But this one is Tom Blythe. It was a very young Cornelia Snow, later played in the Hunger Games series by Donald Sutherland, and also Rachel Zegler. You may remember her from, she played in West Side Story. Her singing comes to fore on this one as well. The short-statured actor, very, very solid voice, Peter Dinklage, and wonderful. She's everywhere. Viola Davis is the creator, the evil villain of the Hunger Games, to try and keep it going, to keep the ratings happening. So since Suzanne Collins wrote this book series several years ago, this has come down a very early prequel, and this is from a 2020 novel which she wrote to explain a little bit of the beginnings. 6 decades before the original trilogy came out, and we have the origins of the character once again, Coriolanus Snow, and that's played by the leader of the Hunger Games, played very well by Donald Sutherland, veteran actor once again. And this time we have Tom Blythe in the role, and he's a young guy, and he's pretty idealistic, 18-year-old, and he's charged with looking after, mentoring some of the earlier people that go into the Hunger Games as they're starting out, and he ends up falling in love with her, and she's a bit of a songbird and uses her music to boost the ratings a bit, and the way things go from there. And so there's virtually 3 stories in this one. First part is getting together the Hunger Games themselves, and the second part is having the battle in a coliseum where they're meant to kill each other, and who are the last one standing, sort of thing. And it's not totally violent, but there is a lot of violence in this. But the third act is getting together with the relationship between the two lovebirds as they try to exist after the games. So I don't think this doesn't hang too well together about how the young Cornelius becomes the Donald Sutherland character, and it's a lot of violence, I said, as they're trying to survive from each other and the other people running the Hunger Games. And very good role from Peter Dinklage and also from Viola Davis. So the Hunger Games, you might want to check it out, but it doesn't hold quite together. But once again, a stunning job from Peter Dinklage. You may remember also played very well in Game of Thrones. He's a really good up-and-coming actor. That voice holds authority.
Yeah. And it's a very long one, too, 2 hours and 38 minutes.
Yes, I didn't mention that. Yeah, 2.5 hours. It's quite a long one, and there's a lot of padding in there. You'll find that it goes through some of the scenes, but it's a long stretch.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right, we've got 2 minutes to finish off with Silent Night.
It can, yeah. So this is not a real warm-hearted film like like The Old Oak. This is John Woo's comeback. He's a master of directing action films and violent films and shoot-'em-ups, and that's pretty well what this one is. We got Dave Turner playing T.J. Ballantyne, who witnesses his young son getting killed in gang war crossfire in an urban environment, an unnamed town, and he goes on a vigilante race to eventually hunt down and kill the people responsible for the death of his son. They shoot him as well in his neck, and he loses his voice. And so the whole film, the unique thing about it is very little dialogue. A little bit of incidental chatter from the police and other things, and a little bit of radio. But he doesn't speak. No one else speaks. It's all action. And it sort of reminds me of that, you play a video game and your thumb's going, hell-bent for leather, sort of pressing everything to kill everyone inside. And that's much like this one, I didn't really get into it too much. It's a lot of killing, a lot of people, perps standing around. He goes into one situation and kills everyone, about 30 people. He's the only guy with a pistol. And how does he do that? He's running down a street, totally narrow alley, totally unprotected, and they're shooting him. And how do they not score? And he sort of survives that. So anyway, if you're in for an action shoot-'em-up, well, this is your film. But I didn't really get into Silent Night too much. But there's lots of variety here for you, and we're coming up in the ensuing weeks with more Christmas films, Bill.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Sig. And you'll be back next week with Thurston, and you'll have some more good ones for the Christmas viewing. So thank you very much for being part of the program today.
No problem, Bill.
Okay. Thanks very much, Sig. Bye for now. Have a good day.
Thanks.